You are now listening to The Empowered Woman, Conversations by Becoming Her magazine, where we amplify women's voices one story at a time. Hosted by Jasmine Hawkins and Crystal Jordan.
Hey you guys, it's Crystal Jordan and
Jasmine Hawkins. Welcome to the Empowered Woman Conversations by Becoming Her magazine. And tonight we have
Myla Latrice. Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
yes, we cannot wait to dig into your story and amplify your voice a little bit more beyond Becoming Her magazine, but the podcast side. So I want to go right into it. Can you tell the audience, her listeners, what is your story?
So my name is Myla Latrice. I own two businesses and a nonprofit. I'm a writer. I'm a mother. I've been a mother since I was a teenager. So things were really hard. I also just did a reality show, and I'm an author. I'm an Amazon best-selling author, and my story is just full of a lot of overcoming mindsets and pressing through, persevering with 3 children at a young age.
For having your children, because I'm also a young mother.
I had my first child when I just turned 18. He's actually 18 now. So I got pregnant at 17 years old. I was fresh out of high school. I actually graduated early. My mom and I was raised by my mom, my uncles, my grandparents. My dad really was in and out. He's a musician, so it comes with the territory, you know. And they were really strict. I mean, we were in church Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, you know, really, really strict. So by the time I got to teenage, when I was in that teenage range, my mama wouldn't let me do anything. Like I couldn't go to the skating rink. I couldn't do nothing. So as a child, I didn't see it as her trying to protect me from the world, you know, and I was just antsy to get out. So she would tell me like, when you graduate high school, you can do whatever you want to do. So that was my motivation. And I ended up graduating early. I graduated like a week or so after I turned 17. It was like May 20, my birthday May 3rd. So a couple weeks after I turned 17. And I ran away. Like I legit ran away and I never went back. I went to my brother's house and I started, you know, talking to this guy who I thought loved me and all of that, and ended up getting pregnant with my son, who's now 18. And it was really, really hard because not only did he abandon me, but my son have siblings his age. So just going through that and just being alone, it was really scary. It was really scary. I didn't want to go back home because like I just felt like they was right and I didn't want them to be right, you know. I had a lot of pride. So that turned into me living from pillar to post, sometimes having to sleep in my car, you know, just that lifestyle.
I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. So how did you transform your mindset? Like at what point were you like, let's see, how did you get yourself out of that situation, I guess?
It took a long time. It was a long time because after I had my son, I got pregnant again by the same dude 3 months later. So now I had a daughter, you know, and then right after I had my daughter, I started talking to somebody else who I thought I loved. I got everything on track. Like I was working. I've been working the whole time. I've always had a good job, just a bad mindset at the time. And I say right after that ended is when I started getting my mind right, because I didn't have no self-esteem. So anybody could have told me anything, and that was that. And it's been a long journey, just building confidence and getting myself together and being at the point where I was ready just for anything, just determined to do what I had to do.
I think every woman can relate to what you just said about having a low self-esteem, not knowing where to go, and any dude can tell you anything, because I know I went through that. Like, I didn't think I was pretty. I thought I was fat. Mind you, I was skinny. And I really, growing up, I struggled with self-confidence and self-esteem issues. And it's funny because to this day, I still kind of struggle, but not as much as I did when I was in middle school and high school, around the age that you're talking about now. So I know a lot of women, and I know somebody who's a her listener can relate to that. So I want to go back to the confidence part, because yes, we get you a single mom. We understand you was a young mom, but let's get back to the confidence. Like, what made you change your mindset and work on your confidence, or actually know your self-worth?
It was a string of women who were godsend, who just gave me the courage to just look within. I wasn't raised being told you're beautiful. I wasn't raised being told that. It was expected for me to know that, if that makes any sense. Like, I wasn't beat down, but it was expected for me to know that.
Girl.
But that has to be built. That has to be built. And when you don't build that, we don't know where to get that from. So we think it comes from outside. And when I tell you I struggled with this for so long, like you said, when I was younger, it was worse, and I still have issues now, but it's not as bad. Like, I can identify with everything that you said, and I would say as recently, maybe up to 4 years ago, is when I can truly say that I found my self-worth. Like, just from looking within, doing self-care, just really realizing what I bring to the table, just learning how to appreciate myself, in the things that I do. And that's where it broke down, I would say about 4 or 5 years ago.
Ooh, girl, I got so much to unload on you right now. So, all right, I agree with you. I don't know if that's a Black household thing for us to just know that we're beautiful, but I wasn't told that enough either.
Yeah.
We was told it, but not enough. Like, now, millennials, we are the generation that's telling our kids, you are beautiful.
Absolutely.
You are handsome. We are getting them kids affirmations to the point that it's down their throats.
Absolutely.
So we didn't have that. But I don't blame my parents, because they didn't have that.
They didn't have it.
And they're human, so they only gonna do what they was taught. And we're doing what they wasn't taught to improve the humans that's gonna be out there 20, 50 years from now.
Period.
Absolutely.
So
it's an undertone. Like, it's the things that need to be talked about are not talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're always told what not to do, but we're never given instructions on what should I do. We're never given the proper instructions on how to go about things, or how to even look at yourself, how to love yourself. Like, none of that is given. It's like they didn't know how.
Yep.
not even just that. Is like, since you're your mom and you and Jasmine, don't have sex. But what else? What is the guides to that?
Right.
What is the expectations if you don't want to be a young mom? I know you and Jasmine both are young moms. I didn't have my child until 27, so I personally can't relate, because I was afraid of my mama. Like, I was terrified.
You was that scared? You waited that long?
I kept mine from my mom, but she found out by just looking at me. She was like, you out there doing stuff, ain't you? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, I can tell your body is changing. And I'm like,
Oh
oh,
my
snap.
goodness. No, I still ain't told my mama I had sex. She know, don't get me wrong, but
You ain't hear from me.
she ain't hear from me. She was at the hospital.
Like, how did this happen?
Somebody told her, but it wasn't me.
I was too afraid.
That is hilarious. So, so from you building your confidence and your self-worth, what do you feel like was your becoming her moment?
When I wrote my first book, so I've always been a writer. I've always been into theater my whole life. That's my gift. That's my craft. And I stopped writing for so long because I was depressed. Like I was depressed for a really long time, and I stopped writing like for years. And so one day, like I had an assignment and I wrote my first book, and it was amazing. I didn't do no advertising. I didn't put out no flyers. I didn't even know it was up on Amazon, and my book was #1 in 24 hours. And that was amazing. Soon as I put the flyer out, I mean, it went crazy. And it was #1 in 24 hours.
What's the name of it?
There for 16 days.
What's the name of your book?
It's called Elijah Awakened, Jezebel Must Die. And it's a book about basically overcoming everything that's associated with control and manipulation, like narcissism and things like that, control and all of that. So that was my becoming her moment. I had really a lot of people telling me that I should wait and things like that because, they didn't believe in me. And that's another lesson that I learned. Don't let anybody rule your life that don't believe in you, like that don't believe that you have what you have in you. And so after that, and I just started doing some self-work. I just started doing a whole lot of self-work. I was working for the post office for a very long time, and I was missing my children's life. And then so that's when I decided I was going to start a business because I was missing too much. And I had already always been attracted to houses. I love everything about houses. I love the remake, the remodel, just going to go look at houses. And I found out about property preservation, and that's what my first business is.
Oh, wow. So I wanted to go back to your book. So what exactly is your book about? Like, I know that you were saying it's about manipulation and narcissism.
Yes.
But can you break it down a little bit more?
So it's a Bible-based book.
I figured.
Yeah.
I heard Jezebel.
Jezebel. It's about battling with the spirit of witchcraft. And where that is rooted in, and it talks about just being an authority over your life versus control, like the differences between that. And then it's just like how to notice when you have witchcraft in your life, or when you have these type of people, or not even people, but this type of mindset that surrounds you. It talks about how it's not the person, but the spirit, the mindset, the culture, and that's what it's about.
So what prompted you to write that book? Like, we are about to unload, so I'm trying to build up.
That's the spiritual Myla. I'm a seer by nature. I've been a seer all my life. I'm a dreamer, and I see things in my sleep. And a lot of times I was judged and criticized because people in the religious setting thought that I was a witch because I can see, and that really broke me. Like, it broke me so bad because I was like, I can't control it, you know. And I would get comments like, oh, there hasn't been a seer for centuries and things like that. But when I start dreaming things that's happening in the world, and it's like, oh, well, you did something bad, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just that. And I had a lot of issues. I had went through a lot in my marriage that I'm recently divorced from. And I saw everything happening. Like, I just saw everything happening. And that's where it came from. That's where it came from. I was in a full out battle with negative witches. Let me just say that. I really, the term witch is it implies that someone is taking advantage of your personal will. But I think that people kind of try to link spirituality in with that. Like, if you are gifted in a way that people may not understand, you know, and yeah. So
what you're trying to say is that, like, as far as with your gifts, they're God sent, and you
absolutely.
and you use your gifts as God sees fit, and not like how it would be in spirituality with witches and them using their gifts to do premonitions and stuff like that.
Absolutely, yes. Like, I'm just explaining the difference, because the reason why I do that is because I think the word is also put on people like me who just see, who don't manipulate, who don't take advantage of people's personal will, who just see, you know. And that's why I said it like that, because I was in that category because I just went to sleep. You know, I just went to sleep.
Like, I woke up with a dream, and
I just went to sleep.
And what's crazy is that, you know, and I'm just starting my journey on reading the Bible, so I'm still in Genesis, but there were seers also. There were people that could dream, like Joseph. I'm at Joseph's part right now.
Yeah.
And he was a dreamer. He could see. When he goes to sleep, God would give him, you know, I guess, visions.
Absolutely.
Of whatever, you know, and it played out. And that's why
everything. Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's how he was able to prosper out in Egypt, with the Pharaoh and stuff like that, you know, and get himself out of slavery that his brothers put him in.
Yeah.
So, like, just because you have a spiritual gift does not automatically make you a part of the spirituality, witchcraft and stuff like that. Gifts are given from God. We all have our own gifts.
Absolutely. That's true. And it's too bad that, you know, people will use their gifts for bad. I wouldn't even know how to do that, because all I do is go to sleep, you know. So it is what it is. But I had to discover, like, that was God's way of just reaching out to me and identifying me. And I saw myself right there where Elijah was, because I had a lot 7-year battle with witches literally trying to kill me. Like, I saw myself in caskets, everything. And you know, it came in through my old marriage. So and that was that.
And I hate that for you. I just got delivered myself from spirituality. And it's crazy that we're here, because Crystal is doing her, she's wanting to be more vocal about her journey. I'm becoming more vocal about mine. And
I wasn't in it long though.
Yeah. There was this video I saw on Facebook where this lady was talking about how, and I know that you weren't actually in it, but for the people that are in witchcraft, or they've centered themselves around witches and people of that community, you know, it's almost like you have to get jumped out, you know. It's kind of like a jumped out situation, like you're in a game. And because you didn't want to take part in what they were doing, they were attacking you as if it was a game type situation.
Wow.
So that kind of hit home for me, because when I left that community, I basically was jumped out. I almost died. Like that entire year. I had, from the top of the year to the bottom of the year, I went through spiritual warfare, you know. And so what you were talking about kind of reminded me of that, like, because you wouldn't join or you wouldn't participate or whatever the case was, they were doing spiritual warfare. They were attacking you because you didn't want to be like them, in a sense.
Yeah. Well, it was really okay. So it was really over my ex-husband, honestly. I actually warned him a few months before he stepped out the marriage, and he got himself a witch. And I basically, you know, was drug through spiritual warfare, not fighting for only him but her too. Because at the time I was like, I felt like, oh, please don't let them read this. It was horrible. It was public. There was a sex tape. I mean, it was bad. But I tried. I fought as much as I could. And I eventually got it out of the marriage, but he was just never the same. He was never the same. There was no rebuilding. He was angry, you know, aggressive and all of that. So I kind of like, it just ran its course. That was a lot.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that one.
To be honest. I mean, to be honest, that's where it came from. And I actually was having miscarriages. We were trying. And when I was going through deliverance, I was told that my dead babies were blood sacrifices because of what what my ex-husband had going on that I had no idea about.
Stop. No, I mean, don't stop, but
yeah, so and there's that, and I fought as much as I could, and I just thank God that I'm intact. My children are intact, and everything is good, and you know, it's out of my life now.
praise him. Praise him.
Yes, amen. Yeah,
that was deep. I ain't gonna lie. That's why I ain't saying nothing, because I was really just.
But people don't realize that you can go through spiritual warfare. You can be attacked through stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? If somebody steps out, they encounter God knows what. Like in your situation, he encountered a witch. He probably didn't even know she was a witch.
I told him. I saw her face and everything. And when we met her, because we both knew her, when we met her, I told him to stay away from her. I told him step by step what would happen, and he walked right into it. And it was hell dragging her out. It was hell. But I was on high alert. I could see what he was doing in my sleep. Like every time something would happen, I would know.
I was that gift.
You want that?
It got ugly. When I tell you his mama got involved, actually his mom and his mistress called me on three-way and attacked me. They jumped me.
The mom.
The mama. The mama, like, when I tell you it was public, and the family knew and everything, like he was parading her. It was like I was the side chick for
right.
He was parading her around. They was all happy and all of that, and I was getting cussed out by his family. And I told his mama, I was like, he is lying to you. Like he's lying to you so that he can protect his image, or that so that you would take up for him. And that was so hard to have to fight for him.
Did they ever apologize?
Yeah, like what happened? Like
So his mom, she never apologized. Like, she just kept attacking me through the years. And it never got better. And every time I would get my marriage together, every time she would call, things would just spiral out of control. It was like the moment she said anything to him, it was like a domino effect. And he would just fall apart. And then he would start back talking to his mistress, who now is like family with his mom. If I'm not mistaken, I think they live together. But she never apologized. What I did was every time she contacted me, every time she contacted my husband, his mistress, I would send her scriptures. I would pray for her. I would send her long prayers. I even had us in a group message. Every time she contacted my husband, I text that group message with a scripture.
Because you think she was bewitched, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And he would not leave her. He actually defended her. He would not leave her alone. And I just had to fight. Like, I had to fight him.
Mm-hmm.
And he let her. He walked right into it. He was in full agreement. And that's another thing that I learned. When somebody is in agreement with something and you try to get them out, you're going against the grain. Because you cannot work against anybody's personal will. God doesn't even do that. He gives us free will. And once you start operating in outside of people's free will, that's witchcraft itself. I don't care how good you think it is, but once you start operating against people's free will, that's the very definition of witchcraft.
Oh, jeez. That was
powerful.
It was. My question is, that was so powerful. Wow. Yeah, I don't understand. I was expecting all of that.
Wait, before you move on to the next question, Krista, hold on. I wanted to make a point that's why God talks about being careful what you come into acceptance with.
Absolutely.
Because and you turn away from it.
Amen.
Because once you accept whatever is going on, it's
a contract.
Yeah.
Agreement is everything. Once you agree, you agree. An agreement can be something as entertainment. You don't even have to say nothing. You entertain it. The things that you watch, like, it can be anything. I had somebody tell me, I made a comment one day. I was like, oh, my favorite movie is Hocus Pocus. And my old pastor said, and you wonder why you always unknowingly entertaining a witch. And I was like, what?
I love that movie too.
I only watch it once a year. That's my favorite childhood movie.
Mine too, girl. I was hit, but I saw what she was saying. It's the agreement, it's the agreement.
And that's what Sarah TDJ said too.
What?
That she don't watch scary movies because she's not in agreement. And she did a whole sermon on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Wow.
Look it up.
I'll play that because she'd be up in the movie theater doing prayers and talking in tongues and stuff because she's trying to cast away whatever's being put out.
She don't watch scary movies. She said that. She don't watch
none.
Wow.
She said she don't play with the devil.
Mm-hmm.
That was her exact words. She don't play with the devil. She know her place.
Yeah.
They watch that sermon. Her listeners, look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, I was not expecting that. I know Jasmine wasn't. That's how I know that our brand is supposed to be God affirming.
Yeah.
Because we're a God affirming brand. I'm not sure if you do that. That's one of our core values, and we don't feature any. We try not to feature anything that's dealing with spiritual stuff. Now we're not trying to judge other people whatsoever. That's not our place. Or
we've been down the journey.
Yeah, even though we have met someone who was offended, but that's not our place. All I was saying when I emailed her was we don't condone witchcraft. And if you don't think you're doing witchcraft, then that's a bigger problem.
And that's you coming into acceptance with it.
Yep. So,
Right.
And like you stated, if we continue to try to convince her that is now we're stepping out of alignment and we're stepping out of our place. We cannot, that's not our place.
Right.
The nugget.
I agree. Yeah, my place. I said what I said, and I wrote it very beautifully. And she was offended, but that I'm not trying to show. I'm not trying to show shade at nobody.
Right.
I'm a shady girl. I wear shades all the time. So, in what ways do you believe being featured in Becoming Her magazine has positively impacted your personal and professional life?
Or will, because I know that we haven't featured you just yet.
Right.
I know that, but it's gonna happen.
Right.
She's speaking into existence.
Right. I think just getting my story out to just sharing, first of all, and all the magnificent women you have featured. I feel honored and I appreciate the opportunity. Just, you know how they say, just to be in a room, just to be in the same sentence, you know, coming from where I'm from, I appreciate that. Just being grouped in. And also, hopefully, I know like my story will reach and encourage other young women who may not have had the perfect life, who may have made bad decisions and, you know, started off in a little late in life, just to encourage them to look within and pull it out. Just it comes from inner to outer.
Thank you for that. And what advice would you give other women that's in our audience? What would be your closing remarks for our audience?
Just strive. Whatever it is you want to do whatever it is you want to do. Believe in yourself, because if you want other people to believe in you, you have to first believe in yourself. And once you believe in yourself, then people have no choice but to believe in you, because you can conquer anything.
That was beautiful.
First, keep God first. Never be ashamed. Never stop. Just never stop.
I love that. I want to say it was more than a pleasure interviewing you. I want to say you're one of my most favorite podcasts I've done in a very long time.
Really? I'm honored.
Yes.
I've been doing this since 2020. So yeah.
I had fun. Thank y'all so much. I wasn't expecting. Look, I didn't know it was a God affirming brand. So I was kind of trying to be careful when you asked me what my book was about. I was like,
Well, we already knew when you said I knew when you said Jezebel. That's in the Bible.
Yeah.
How can you say what a Jezebel is? A Jezebel is the modern thought, y'all.
Yeah. Basically. Yep.
Right.
I knew when you said Jezebel, I was like, oh, it's a God affirming book. So I did good. And it's funny, I'm working on my God affirming book that needs to be finished, but I'm not finished.
Finish it.
I know I am. It is called, because by the time this will motivate me to finish it. It's called Girl Be Radiant.
Period. And it's good.
It's 365 days. So every day you get to read either a quote, an affirmation, or a Bible verse. Of course, I got Proverbs 31 in there, you know, because like, who don't know what that is? Like, as a woman, that's important. But it's for women to love themselves or fall back in love with God.
Absolutely. I love it. Keep going.
Thank you. My mentor helped me come up with the name Girl Be Radiant, but I had something else radiant, and she said, just say it, Girl Be Radiant. I said, I love that. So I'm super excited to drop it. This episode gonna push me to do it, because I'm not done. I have so much work to do. And I'm done writing it. I just got to put it in each day, and that's the part that I don't like. oh, I can pay somebody. I can also.
You can. You can.
I
You
just
can
thought
get,
about
yes, you can pay somebody to do it.
Period.
I know. I just thought about that.
Oh, so the book is done then.
It's done.
It's done.
Yeah, it's done. It's a done deal.
He's already done. I just need somebody to plug it in, and I'm done. That's it.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
awesome.
Well,
I want to know. I will definitely support when it comes out.
Okie
I want to
dokie. I
know.
would love that. When I drop
Authors,
it, I will email you.
yes, please. I love reading. I will read it and I will review it on my platform like I do for the rest of the authors who drop their books. I love to read. That's my most favorite hobby. I love to read.
really.
What is your Instagram?
That's good.
I know we probably have it, but
Right. My Instagram is Queen Marie 2U. That's the number 2, the letter U.
this was Crystal Jordan and
Jasmine Hawkins, thank you guys so much for listening to the Empowered Women Conversations. Oh, wait, my bad. Let's do it again. I know
so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was amazing. I'm Crystal Jordan, your co-host.
This is Jasmine Hawkins.
I'm Myla Latrice.
And thank you guys so much for listening to the Empowered Women's Conversations by Becoming Her Magazine. See you guys next time.
Bye. Okay,
Bye.
so I'm ending it now.